Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Boy, that was some of the best weather we've had in forever. Um, so hope you had a chance to enjoy it. For those of you who went out to the mullet toss, that place was crazy out there. Somebody shot a picture saying it was $70 to park at one place. That seems to be a little nuts, but it is the mullet toss, and parking is a premium on that island. So I know we're kicking into May, so this will be the last episode for April. Let's dive right in. Let's see how we're doing.
I'm a man on a mission.
My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and
Don't need no permission.
I want to help you get to actual truth.
On a mission.
Don't you just want the truth?
As always, right here, I'm going to start the podcast every week talking about what is the difference, what is a neutral market, what's a seller's market, what's a buyer's market, so you can put those in perspective. A neutral market is anything in between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory. Buyer's market is anything greater than 7 months, and anything less than 6 months is a seller's market. What this slide does not show, like I say every week, is a hyper seller's market is anything under 3 months. A hyper buyer's market is anything over 9 months. So let's take a look at. Before we look at any of them, I've got this one loyal follower that asked me to do a shout out. They watch it every week, so they asked me to do a shout out. So I'm going to make sure we do that. Hi, Mom. All right, we're going to start with Escambia County. Escambia County has seen some changes, but we've still got this one little blip that is kind of fascinating to me. Over here on the left-hand side is your price points. Over on the right-hand side is your month's worth of inventory. So if you go back to that slide I was talking about before, this gives you an idea of what that plays. 0 to 200,000 in Escambia County is still a hyper seller's market. So if you have a market in there, that's my wife texting me, and my phone's just going to pick it up. So you just saw the screen. Hey, Angie. If you have something in there, then it's a hyper sellers. You can price that pretty aggressively. We have. I had a property that fell in this 100 to 149. When I comped it out, when I compared it out when we went to go list it, it looked right at 100. We listed it at 105 because we were trying to be a little aggressive. So I went 5% over. We wound up getting multiple offers. None of them were under our list price. And we sold it for even more. I can't really say how much we sold it for yet because it hadn't closed. But anyways, that's the type of aggressive marketing you can do if you're in this price point right here. The 200 to 350 is still considered a seller's market. So anywhere between 2 and 250, 250, 300, 300, 350, you've got 4.5 months all the way down to 3.4 months. So what does this tell buyers? Because I've got some buyers that are looking in these price points, and they're not necessarily wanting to get as aggressive in the pricing. I've got one that is demanding to go 10% under value right now. What this is saying is that you're just not going to get that. Is there a slight possibility? Sure. But there's also a possibility we land on Mars tomorrow. I know somebody's going to go, well, we did land on Mars. There's the Mars rover. I'm talking about personally. You know what I was meaning. 350 to 400. This is considered in Escambia County a neutral market, but boy, that is slightly skewing towards the buyer's market. If you remember this last week, it was 7.9. So it's actually coming a little bit back towards a buyer's market. Okay. But right now it's a neutral. 400 to 450, a neutral, but just barely. So that one you're going to have to be, that one's a fascinating one right now to me. And how you price and how you negotiate. Understand that what things are selling for under value, right? If this is under this value, if that's the statistic, then we need to make sure that if we list it at this point, we've just got to have a strategy there. We've got to be willing to negotiate. Both sides between 350 and 450 really need to negotiate. So let's talk about the fluke right now. The 450 to 500 in Escambia County has come down a little bit, but it's 11 months, which means it's a hyper buyer's market. You've got inventory between this. So if you're looking for a property between this, that's when you can be a little more aggressive as that one buyer was trying to be. That's how you can, this is the price point you can do that at. So 500 to 550 actually bumps back down to a seller's market. So it's a little, this has just been fascinating in Escambia County. for a while now. But above 550, anything above 550 is going to be a hyper buyer's market because they're all over 9 months, and anything over 700,000, well, we got almost 2 years worth of inventory. So that's where we sit right now in Escambia County as of yesterday. Let's go take a look at Santa Rosa County. There was a good article came out. I actually shared on the Facebook page. If you hadn't got over to like the Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Shane Willis, the Realtor. Some of you are seeing this on Facebook, so like the page. If you're seeing this on YouTube, hit subscribe, and then go like the Facebook page because I put a lot of stuff over there. There was talking about how the article. Let me get back to what I was saying. Talking about how the housing at the 200 and under price point is just very, very hard to do, and that builders should really step in to try and feel that. And if you look at these numbers, this actually does it. It's under $250,000 in Santa Rosa County is a hyper seller's market. Under 200, there's 1.1 months. 1 to 150, there's 1 month worth of inventory. 50 to 100, there's 1.6 months worth of inventory, and under 50, there's not even a half a month's worth of inventory. So what does that tell you? If you're kicking around the idea of selling something and you're in one of these price points, call me because we probably can price it fairly aggressive. Now, if it's really worth 175, don't call me and ask me to do 250. But if it's really worth 175, could we list it at 195? Could you maybe get an extra $10, $15, $20,000? Perhaps. It's going to really depend on some other factors. When you talk about residential real estate, you still have to compare it out to other properties. We still have an appraiser. And we were talking about commercial real estate. That'd be a totally different ballgame. It would just be an NOI conversation. But that's a different podcast. We're not going to talk about that right now. So anything under 250 is a hyper seller's market. Between 250 and 450 is a seller's market. So $450,000 and under in Santa Rosa County is considered a seller's or a hyper seller's market. As a buyer, you need to know that. If you're looking at buying in Santa Rosa County, you need to know that. As a seller, that means that you can price things a little more aggressive or you can wait on things. Okay? Between 450 and 600 is a neutral market. You got 6.2 months, 8.5 months, and 7.2 months worth of inventory. So 8.5, this actually should be blue, because we said anything over 7 months worth of inventory is considered a buyer's market, but they kind of put it yellow because it's right there in the neutral stuff. 600,000 to 650 is 15.6 months, and this number seems to be a little off. 650 to 699, it says there's 66 months worth of inventory. There's probably something skewing that. There's probably a number skewing that somewhere, meaning something's been on the market way longer. Something was under contract but came back on the market. It's just really messing with those statistics because I've only got 11 active and 3 pending. So, yeah, something's wrong. Something's wrong with that number, but I would venture to say it's probably somewhere in between these two, 15.6 and anything over 700,000 in Santa Rosa County is a year's worth of inventory. If you remember that in Escambia County, that was 2 years worth of inventory. All right, well, that is this week. How is the market in Pensacola? If you haven't subscribed to either the YouTube channel, if you're watching that, or the Facebook page, or hit double tap on Instagram and hit follow, do that for me now. And also do me another favor. If I brought any value to you at all on this, hit like and then hit share. Help me get the word out. We're going to do this every Monday. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
I'm a man on a mission.
My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there, and
Don't need no permission.
I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth?